Hey, everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers and 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com in over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and now you can hear the Mike Wagner Show on HamiltonRadio.net. And soon to be Oldies FM, Diamonds Radio, and a few other networks coming soon to internet near you. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear, and more. Makes great gifts 24/7 for your family, friends, and loved ones. And don't forget to check our sponsor of our great books of Mia Molson-Zia here on Amazon. You can check out his great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles, also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and also some phone cases and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. He's backed by a popular man from the other side of the pond, former singer-songwriter of Carmen Gray. Previously talked about his 20 years in music. We'll talk about that. And of course, one of the bigger reasons why I have this gentleman back, he's been living on Cloud 9, and he got me hooked on Cloud 9. He also had some other releases. We talked about This Is My Happy Face, featuring Doormat with Eyes Closed, Hearts on Fire. And he's been featured in numerous publications and the ISSA award winner as Emerging Male Artist of the Year, also the Josie Music Awards and Hollywood Music and Media Awards nominee. And he's talking about a new song called, or new release, we should say, Better Man, and featuring some releases like I'm Done with the Blues, Holy Grail of Truth, Venetian Rubber Boots, and by 2022. And right here in 2022, live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios on the other side of the pond, the very popular man who likes to call it hit after hit after hit. And he's a better man. Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, Tommy Tikka. Tommy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hey, great to be back. It's afternoon for you, evening for me.
It really doesn't matter if it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Now I'm going to tell you the backstory behind it, because every time I say good morning, afternoon, I get corrected like good evening. Every time I say good morning, it's like, no, it's good afternoon.
Yeah.
I was watching a Truman Show one day, and we saw it a few times and get every different ending. My wife and I really love the movie, and I thought of this. You know how he always says good morning, good afternoon, good night, or whatever it is. I simply said, no matter what time it is, you can listen to this in Los Angeles at 6 a.m. You can listen to it in New York at 6 p.m. You can listen to it in London at 12 midnight, or you may have trouble sleeping in China at 2 in the morning. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's just a really good day 24/7. So, well, that's a backstory behind it too, but we're here to talk about you as well, being a better man. Of course, we had you on quite a few times, being a former singer-songwriter of Carmen Gray. Please talked about 20 years in the business, and I'd like to congratulate you again and wish you 20 more years in music and beyond. And you've been featured in numerous publications, and we talked last about This Is My Happy Face, and now you're definitely a better man, and we'll talk about that. And just give us an update about 20 years in music, and just tell us what it's like, and maybe just give us a quick update on everything else.
20 years in music. I was actually, was it last year that I realized that it's coming up?
20 years. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, as sort of a recording artist and professional songwriter. I mean, it's been a great ride. I'm very pleased. What can I say? Be very fortunate. And just going back to what you were saying, hoping obviously that there'll be 20 more. Might be pushing the envelope a little bit there, but just
Well,
right.
the way you're going really strong as well too. It's just like you won some awards as well too. Emerging Male Artist of the Year. You also been nominated in the Josie Music Awards category, Hollywood Music and Media. I think there's like a long list as well too. You also have This Is My Happy Face, Cloud Nine, and everything else. And besides, you talked about that, and tell us about This Is My Happy Face and how's that coming so far.
Well, This Is My Happy Face was that was the previous album, and I was actually I listened to it a couple of days ago. I hadn't listened to it since it came out about a year ago, because so much work goes into these things. You have all the retakes, and it's awful to say, but the album kind of dies for you for a little while. At least you got to take a break from it. But then always something happens where you go to maybe Spotify to check if your new release is out, which is what happened to me. And and I kind of noticed, oh, This My Happy Face is there. I haven't listened to that for a while, so turned it on actually, and and to be honest with you, quite enjoyed it, because once you listen to it after a year, it doesn't, it's not like listening to your own album anymore. It's like, some of the tracks I'd probably do a little bit differently now, but the ones that you mentioned, Doormat and Hearts on Fire, With Eyes Closed, there are a couple of my favorite is the one that ends the album, Garden of Judas. I think that's one of the tracks. It's a long ass track, it's almost 7 minutes, but
is it longer than Inagata Davida, or is it long as Master of Puppets, or is it just as long as American Pie by Don McLean?
it clicks. It's almost 7 minutes, so it's kind of like
that is your version of American Pie. I understand now.
Yeah. I mean, it's long solos. It was I recorded that sort of because I've always I love CCR, John Fogerty, and what they did in the late 60s, and they had jams. Susie Q had some great solos in it, and I just wanted to record a track like that, where you have a little bit more of the guitar than you usually have these days, and there's all sorts of little bits and pieces that happen in the song, the choral bits that started, and if people, whoever hasn't listened to it, I recommend it. Obviously, very biased opinion, super biased, but
I think we're all biased on a lot of things too,
right? But you tend to, some of the, it's biased, but it's not as bad as it sounds, because some of the tracks that you listen to after 5 years, you're kind of like, why did I put that out? and some of them kind of, they have staying power in terms of your own opinion. And I think Garden of Judas is definitely going to be one of those. My favorite track on the album, by the way, listening to it now, was Fly to the Moon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, it was This My Happy Face was based on the dream that I had about my dad. My dad was in it. He passed away a few years before I recorded the album, and I had that dream of him, and I met him in the dream. He was sitting on the couch downstairs. I got up in the dead of night to get a glass of water, and it kind of signaled me over. We had closure, because when he died, we hadn't sorted out a lot of things. But this dream, it wasn't a nightmare, it was a dream, gave us an opportunity to talk about a lot of the stuff. And the interesting part of the dream, and this is the only time it's ever really happened to me, is that he all of a sudden told me that, now you got to go back now, and I'm like, okay. And we hugged, and he was smoking a cigarette, and it burnt my neck.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because we always fought about his cigarettes, because nobody wanted them around really. But yet he insisted, and so this was one of the things that we used to fight about when I was a kid. But I didn't mind it in the dream, because I was just so happy to be hugging him again. But when I woke up in the morning, I had a mark on my neck. I kind of explained it to myself that maybe I've been scratching, because sometimes when you have a dream, it sure looked like a cigarette burn. And that was the weirdest thing. I stood in front of the mirror for a long time looking at that, wondering what the heck actually happened. And that's when the initial idea for the album came about. That's
rather interesting. He might have mistaken for an ashtray. I was just thinking of that. So
yeah, it's like, are you my son? No, but it was scary. It was scary because kind of that mark followed me from the dream. And so quite started thinking in terms of the spirit realm and how much of that is actually real.
Mm-hmm. And, and of
But
course, and of course, talking about cigarettes, spirits, and visualizing dreams and everything else. What was a brand that he was smoking? Do you recall on that one?
Marlboro. It was always
Too
that.
common,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, too common. Yeah. I'm afraid so. Nothing spectacular there. That was his brand.
Yes, indeed, and of
Pall
course,
Mall at some point, but mostly Marlboro.
I think everybody smokes them these days as well, too. And of course, with you being a better man, we'll talk about it in just 1 minute. You're first to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and even Levin enjoys about how its celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and over 40 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today, and check us on HamiltonRadio.net, Oldies FM, Diamonds Radio, and more. And check our merchandise at the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books and merchandise and more. Check it out today. Also support us at the MikeWagnerShow.com, Anchor FM, PayPal.com, and you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with former singer-songwriter of Carmen Gray, who talked about his 20 years in the business, and he's now a better man. Tommy Tikka here on the Mike Wagner Show. Tommy, let's talk about your new release, Better Man, and what inspired you to come up with the album Better Man?
Well, when I was growing up, mentioned my dad, mentioning him again. But anyway, he was a merchant marine in his youth, and he'd sail around the world. This was obviously when I was born, before I was born, and so I grew up with all these international versions of, for example, Beatles albums. We'd have the Spanish Hard Day's Night, and maybe some of the Kings albums were from Brazil or Argentina.
Oh wow!
And so he introduced me to music, and I was 60s and 70s. That was my parents' era, and we'd listen to music every Friday and Saturday, and that's how I fell in love with that particular era in music and all those songs. And so when it was time to record another album, because I had done a couple of concept albums really prior, Life of Grant with the Impersonators, and then this is My Happy Face with the Hopcaps. I just wanted to record an album that, sort of type of music that I grew up with, just have really no theme or anything, just write songs that reminded me of the stuff that my parents used to listen to. Mm-hmm. And there was originally a song called Better Man on the album, but then we decided that the name was better than the actual song.
Huh.
And so wanted to call my new label, Minds Behind the Music. Wanted to call the album Better Man regardless, even if we dropped the song, because they felt and I felt that the name kind of was good. And so really that's how Better Man, that's how it happened. It just one song at a time, writing some of the songs. For example, I'm Done with Blues. You mentioned that. I'm working with Michael Stover, obviously, and he contacted me one day and said that there's a series that they want somebody to write kind of Elton Johnish type of song with the Motown feel, and I wrote I'm Done with Blues, and we offered it to them. It for some reason didn't make the cut. I love that track, and so when it came time to select songs for the new album, I wanted to kind of redo that because it was the original version. The demo was recorded in haste.
I
I
see.
wanted to kind of take it to the big studio and give it the time that actually deserved. But so all these different tracks that some of them had been floating around for quite some time. A couple of new ones like the Holy Grail of Truth, but quite a few of them. Ain't Life a Bitch was written I don't know 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and it was one of those tracks that I was always going to return to, and so I did. But when I was looking back to the backlog that I had created over the years, I selected certain type of songs that would have been the type of music that my parents used to listen to on Friday nights and Saturday nights. So
Mhm.
so that's if there's a theme, or if any of those songs or all of them have some sort of something in common, it's the fact that I wanted to make the album sound kind of like 60s and 70s singer-songwriter album. So
Hmm. That does sound interesting, and I'm glad you mentioned about the Holy Grail of Truth. It makes me think of Monty Python and Holy Grail, and there are Holy Grails out there. But the Holy Grail of Truth, and maybe tell us about that, and why the Holy Grail?
well, it was the song was inspired by not the movie Exorcist, but the new version, the series that's on Amazon.
Mhm.
And so sort of it's it's a horror movie, and the series is horror series. So and it's not my genre, but if these things are done well, I'm a sucker for them. So I started watching the series, and sort of started thinking in terms of what was happening there, and that kind of led me to thinking about love. When falling in love, when you're really in love with somebody, you don't really know where one person ends and the other one begins. Kind of like demonic possession in a way.
Mhm.
Somebody gets into your head and you can't get them out.
Get out,
And
get out. Yeah.
right,
Get
yeah,
out. No.
right. And and guys fall in love, and next they're going to ballet with some chick, and so that's what the song really is about on that level. But since it was inspired by this series, the new version of The Exorcist, I kind of wanted to bring the Holy Grail in it, as a word. The song needed a snappy title, and really, I wish there was a better reason for me to select Holy Grail into the title, but that not really. It sounded good when I sang it, and it somehow seemed to complete the cycle with the horror film and then the new series that somehow functioned as the initial inspiration for writing the tune.
Hmm. And of course, also more inspiration as well too, like Venetian rubber boots as well too, and that's rather amusing. Just tell us about that.
Well, that was the song that started my collaboration with Minds Behind the Music label. They were putting together an album, sort of a fundraising album that the whole idea was to fight climate change, or is
Mhm.
to fight climate change. The album's going to come out in a couple of months, and Michael actually put me in touch with these folks and said that you want to offer flight to the moon, for this particular project, and I did, but then turned out that they couldn't use tracks that had already been released because then they wouldn't be fresh, or
Mhm.
you know yep. And so I wrote a new one, which was then wrote it with my wife, Venetian Rubber Boots, and because it was getting to the point where I had written so many albums and so many singles and so many EPs, because I released a lot last year. And I because it was right before Christmas, I remember I went to her and I said that, look, because we write together periodically anyway. I said that, you got to help me out with this one, because I'm kind of, I got a couple ideas how to do this, but I need you to write the lyrics mostly, and then I need the middle eight here.
Hmm.
And so there was just one of those things where it's very handy to have a wife who's talented musically and
Oh
is a
wow.
songwriter, because then you can go to her and say that, look, I need your help. And
Hmm.
that's how we just kind of wrote it, very much eyeball to eyeball.
She's a
um
songwriter also.
she is, yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And so we were kind of sitting she was sitting on the couch, I was sitting on a chair, we were staring into each other's faces and singing, and it's kind of eyeball to eyeball is the expression that I'd use, just happening right there. Then it took us about, I don't know, 45 minutes, and the song was ready. And then
Wow.
of course I ran upstairs to the studio and the home studio and started recording it. And that was a longer process. It was a very difficult song to record for a couple of reasons. We had written it in the key of A, and I had decided that the melody be like kind of 3 octaves almost,
Hmm.
which meant that I had to sing very low in the beginning, and it took me forever to hit those notes.
Oh my.
And it's the type of song where you really don't want to use auto tune because it would be completely out of place there.
Oh, I bet.
And
Yeah, it'd be pretty muddy too. Like,
yeah,
I've had people that abuse it and just sound like crap. I mean, just ask
right.
Brittany. It's like, she did it with a auto tune, like refund, just pulled out
And
the door.
right. And then as a result, I ended up about with I don't know, I believe it was 195 vocal tracks for the lead. And it just, when you have 195 tracks that are basically more or less the same track, and you start editing it down to one track, it takes forever. And it's got a trumpet, and I had to write that melody as well, and all sorts of things are happening in the song. It's got African instruments in the beginning because we wanted to make it kind of George Harrison-ish, a little bit Beatlesque,
Hmm.
and all sorts of things. It's actually quite the fun fair, and it's almost like going to a fete, like a village fete, hearing all these different sounds and little things here and there and trying to take it all in. But it sounds fantastic when I finished with my producer Janne Saksa, and he worked hard on it to get everything correct with me, all right. But it was hell to record.
Hmm. And of course, you also, this is by 2022. That's one of your hit singles, and currently charting as well on most of the charts. And tell us about that. The by 2022 from Better Man.
Well, yeah, by 2022 was really the first single that was released, and that was I think it was in November last year already. We knew the album was going to come out in the spring. We didn't know it would take this long to put it together, but there was always this idea that it's the first single of the album. But yeah, by 2022 is kind of me. It's me singing to the new year. It's a love song, or it's a song about heartbreak, but instead of singing it to a lover that you've lost or singing out your disappointment, it's kind of like a letter that I wrote for the new year, for 2022. And to make a long story short, just kind of saying that, I didn't like 2021 much. Hope you're going to be better to me than the
Hmm.
previous year. So kind of hopeful
Hmm.
in that sense. And that has very complex harmonies at the end, especially when everything kicks in. And then I also added a few lines from the old Lang Syne, which you can hear in the background. And
Yes,
to
yes.
find sonic environment for all of that, and be able to mix it down where everything's audible but yet doesn't sound crammed. It was just one of those things that took forever.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, and it did a really good job as well, too. And where can we find Better Man at, and some of your other works at, Tommy?
um in Better Man's Out. um Sorry, been singing again today. Better Man's out on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Pandora. It's everywhere.
Okay. All right. We will certainly do so. We're with Tommy Tikka, singer songwriter, and with Better Man here on the Mike Wagner Show. And Tommy, what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond?
Well, the impersonators are going to be back. I'm going to start as soon as I finish the promo work for Better Man, which is probably going to be at the end of the summer. We'll start recording the next impersonators album, and that's going to be called Rainbows and Dead Flowers. And and the songs have been written. They've kind of part of them have been recorded, so it'll be a much easier project to get into than Better Man was. Most of it is already there. So what it's going to involve is me getting back to the studio and replaying some of the parts and re-singing some of the parts, but mostly it'll be mixing it down and then playing around with the songs a little bit. And hopefully we'll be able to finish that album in the fall and then have it out 2023.
Okay, that sounds great. We're looking forward to that. Once again, we're with singer-songwriter Tommy Tikka here on the Mike Wagner Show, Better Man. Tommy, it's always great to have you on, and thank you for your time. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. And once again, tell us where can we find Better Man and what's your website and how can people contact and where do people purchase your works at?
Better Man's going to be out, or it's out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, you name it, it's there. The best way to keep track of my comings and goings and the new music that I release is to go to www.tomtikka.com. It's all going to be there.
We will certainly do so. Once again, Tommy, very big thank you for your time. You're always amazing. It's great to have you back and looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. We wish you all the best, and we'll see you in either in 2022 or 2023.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks for having me on the show.